Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning to Miss Amira Hazimah binti Berhad. My name is Muhammad Faris bin Muhammad Alias, and I am a student of BA 242 from Group 4D. And today in this video, I would like to share and explain about my equity trading report from Trading Games. Alright, from the Trading Games, the executive summary that I can conclude are I able to gain knowledge and experience from trading games, and I able to apply knowledge gained from subject in the final courses, and I also able to identify most workable and not workable strategy. Next, I will also able to identify most profitable stock and unprofitable stock, and most importantly, I able to understand and know current issue in the financial market. For overall ranking from the Trading Games, I was given Rm 1 million ringgit as the initial value and capital to be traded, and the objective was to maximize the profit and try my best to minimize the loss. And the total final profit that I gained were Rm 7,683 ringgit. I also successfully made 100 trades done, and I am ranked in number 41 from the Trading Games. My profitable stock was Saudee Group Berhad with a stock code 5157. And for my unprofitable stock was Untitled Corporation Berhad with stock code 5140. As you can see here, this is my profitable stock, which is Saudee Group Berhad, and I have made 30 transactions including buying and selling with volume and quantity of stock were 16,788,000. And the profit that I gained from this trade were Rm 53,053 ringgit and 50 cents. Meanwhile, for my unprofitable stock, which is Untitled Corporation Berhad, the transaction that I have done were 15 transactions including buying and selling with volume and quantity of stock 3,400,100, and the loss that I gained were 35,000 ringgit Malaysia. Now let's move on to the fundamental analysis that I have implemented in my trading games. News and events, economic analysis, and industry analysis. These tools help me to decide what stock and securities that I need to buy. Let's look at economy analysis. Overall, the COVID-19 pandemic that hit the world has affected the Malaysian economy. GDP performance for 2020 declined 5.6% as compared to a positive growth of 4.3% in 2019, influenced by the fall of all economy sectors. However, Malaysian economy is projected to grow by 4.5% in 2021 amid a dramatic resurgence of the COVID-19 virus beginning in the mid-April 2020. This recent spike in infections is a rising concern about the overall capacity of Malaysia's health system and the effect of the ongoing cycle of opening and closing the economy on households and the firms. And according to the World Bank Malaysia Economic Monitor, during the research launched today, this latest projection is lower than earlier forecasts of 6% growth, reflecting a slower pathway towards suppressing the pandemic and the slower than expected vaccine rollout. For industry analysis, because of MCO phases were implemented in the country since 18 March 2020 until now to curb the outbreak of COVID-19, the performance of economic activities following the domestic supply and demand factors and the influence of the external sector and industry has led Malaysian economy recorded negative growth for the 3 consecutive quarters for year 2020. However, Malaysia started to recover its economic performance in the first quarter of year 2021. As evidence of Malaysia's economy start to recover in 2021, where the manufacturing sector grew stronger 6.6% for the first quarter 2021 compared to 3% in the fourth quarter of 2020. And for agriculture sector grew marginally to 0.4%, a turnaround from a decrease of 1% in the fourth quarter of 2020. For service sector, which was a major contributor to Malaysia GDP, decreased 2.3% from a decline of 4.8% in the previous quarter. And for mining and quarrying sector improved to a negative 5% as compared to 10.4% decline in the fourth quarter of 2020. Last but not least, construction sector decreased by 10.4%, and this is an improvement from negative 13.9% in the preceding quarter. Overall, a component of expenditure shows a sign of recovery. This was mainly led by exports and imports, which rebound to a double-digit growth, mainly supported by the expansion in goods. Meanwhile, exports of service continue to decline as national borders are still closed for travelling activities. This is a list of news and events that influenced me to invest on two stocks that I have mentioned earlier, which is Saudee&Luxchem. The news about Saudi is a new issue of security, a right issue with a warrant in the company. And according to the Star, the Saudi group Berhad is one of the stocks that need to focus and watch on that month. Besides, the company of fintech global Berhad has invested in the Saudi group Berhad with 17.53% into Saudi group Berhad. And for Luxchem, the news and the event that I research found was the three Malaysia stock that start to a bullish trend, which is JF Tech, Luxchem and Teladan. All this news and event has influenced me to look into the stock and analyze whether to enter or not. Alright, now let's look at the background of the company, which is Saudi Group Berhad. This company is a Malaysia-based investment holding company. The company is engaged in wholesaling and dealing of fresh and frozen foods. The company also engaged in the manufacturing and dealing process, poultry, beef products, frozen foods, and bakery products. It operates in two segments: manufacture and sale of food products and property development. The company manufacturing activities includes production of nuggets, frankfurters, drumet, balls, which meat, banana cake, roti canai, and pita bread under the in-house brand of Saudi and Deli. Furthermore, the company subsidiaries include Saudi Cold Storage Sedan Berhad, which as a wholesaler and dealer of fresh and frozen foods. Next, Perusahaan Saudi Sedan Berhad, which is a manufacturer and a dealer of processed poultry, beef products, frozen food, and bakery products. And lastly, Sandwich Ventures Sedan Berhad, which is engaged in property development. Next is Luxchem Corporation Berhad. This company is a Malaysia-based investment holding company. The company operates through two business segments, which is trading and manufacturing. The trading segment is engaged in importing, exporting, and distributing petrochemical and other related products. For manufacturing segment is engaged in manufacturing and trading of unsaturated polyester resin and related products. Its marketing and distribution arm carries approximately 400 different types of industrial chemical and materials. Its trading products include bricks, ceramics, fiberglass reinforced plastic, latex, painting, coating, PVC, and rubber. Its polymer products include resins, gel coats, and additives. Its unsaturated polyester resins are manufactured under the name of Polymer. It exports to various countries include Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines, Japan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, China, Australia, and the Middle East. Done with fundamental analysis, now let's move on to technical analysis. I use these tools like price movement, volume, MACD indicator, RSI indicator, support and resistance, market sentiment, and screener for both stocks. Let's start with profitable stock, and as you can see here, this is a daily chart for Saudi Group Berhad. For this chart, I'm using two indicators, which is MACD and RSI. The decision that I made for these securities is based on news and the research. From RSI showed a buying signal on end of April and the beginning of May, when the RSI is below 30 and then move up, cross over the oversold line. and buying decision was made by me at the format at the price of 0.2, and based on MACD show an earlier buying signal when the MACD line crossed above signal line and followed by MACD histogram turns up below 0. And as you can see from the chart, the arrow show a buy decision that I made was at the support level, which is a range of 0.2 and 0.19, which is I buy at 0.2. And from this decision, I take at least 4.5 to 5% profit from the trading, which is I buy at 0.2 and then I sell at 0.25. This is due to the limited trade and the limited time frame, because as you can see, I want to hold the stock as the stock will start to form a bullish trend. As you can see from the chart that I plotted this signal, and this signal was confirmed by using MACD and RSI, where the RSI is shown, the RSI is below 30 and then move up and cross the oversold line and show a strong buying signal followed by MACD, and then the price starts to form a bullish trend. For the potential investor, I would like to suggest buy at this date, which is at range of 21 June at price of 0.14, and then sell it at the price of 0.29, which is when the RSI show a sell signal when the RSI above 70 and then move down and cross below overbought line. And in potential investor should take at least 13.7% profit from the investment. Now let's look at unprofitable stock. As you can see here, this is a daily chart for Luxchem Corporation Berhad. I'm using two indicators, same as Saudi, which is MACD and RSI, but the decision that I made only based on the news. As you can see here, the buying decision that I made was at the peak of price, which is the higher price of the securities. And this is actually a wrong decision, because based on MACD and RSI, it shows a sell signal when the RSI is above 70% and then turns down cross below overbought line, and MACD line is crossed below signal line, followed by the MACD histogram turns down above 0. And based on the MACD, I supposed to enter the market at the end of the April, where the MACD line crossed above signal line, and then sell it at the beginning of May. But I entered into the market too late and buy at the price of 0.96 and sell it at 0.99, which is at the peak of the price of the resistance level 3, the higher price of the security, and the price start to fall down, and I need to cut loss at the price of 0.90. Now let's move on to the current issue related to the economy and financial market. As we all know, COVID-19 pandemic has affected the Malaysian economy and the financial market itself. We can see that many businesses are nearly bankrupt, and from the global market, the oil prices has fallen. And this is a good news for the consumer, but a bad news for economy and financial market. As a result, we can see that KLCL index has fallen in 2020 and till now. However, there are still a good news from COVID-19 pandemic, which is vaccination. Vaccination has made a recovery on the economy and financial market, especially in the healthcare industry and sectors. Now let's continue to the most workable strategy. Both fundamental and technical analysis were workable strategy. On the fundamental analysis, news and event has helped me to decide what stock that I need to buy and what sectors and industry that I need to focus. Furthermore, on the technical analysis, price movement, volume and support resistance has helped me to decide when to buy and when to enter the market. Next, most not workable strategy, which is MACD and RSI indicators. As I explained and mentioned before, MACD and RSI indicators are not 100% accurate on the giving a buying and selling signal. Next is a market sentiment, where I feel that I'm not confident and do not know when to enter and get out from the market. For recommendation, I recommend to use screener to identify the best stock for invest in any time frame. For example, what securities that you need to buy in a super short term, intermediate and long term. Next, study and test the market. By study and test the market, you will be able to know how market is going on and make decision based on 4W. When, why, where, what, and 1H, how. By doing this, you will know what industry and sectors are potential in the market and what the current issue is going on in the economy. Last but not least, identify and take advantage of the current trends of price movement. You need to study the price movement and study how indicators are work and use indicator to decide when to enter and when to get out to maximize your profit and avoid any losses. In conclusion, the COVID-19 pandemic greatly affected the global market and economy. We can see our financial markets declining this year. Many businesses have collapsed and are nearly bankrupt. However, there are certain industries that can continue to grow in the market, such as the healthcare industry. Although market prices fluctuate, investors can still be active in the market and analyze possible securities to make profit with high-low trading strategies and minimize losses as much as possible.